So it's early season here in the Canadian Rockies. There's a bit less than a foot of snow. Typically what you'll see people do is compact the snow down and then you're able to anchor your tent in there pretty well. I use a non-freestanding tent. It's a little bit more tricky. So I'm gonna get started and see how it works out. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is just clean up the area. I need a pretty big area because my tent is a 9x9 pyramid. If you do compact the snow, you've gotta wait pretty long time before you start to set up your tent. But I'm going to do things a little different because it's not too deep that if I get off my skis I'm going to sink down too much. So you see, if I walk here, it's not that bad. It's 6 inches, not the end of the world. So the way I'm going to go about this is I'm just going to tie off each branch to the tent. So what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of girth hitching the stick. And I do have my tent stakes. I'm just anchoring it off that way. That way I can just pull the tent stake and I can undo the knot. The next stage is just going to be bury these under some piles of snow and let them set. Buried some pretty long sticks at all 4 corners. They're kind of roughly tightened right now. The next step is to pop the center pole up. Now it's pretty rare that when you do that, the tent is perfect first shot. So I'll go ahead and do that and then see if we need to make any adjustments at any corners. So a few things going on here. So there's some slack along 2 sides, and this side here is pulling not out at 45 degrees, so I got to make some adjustments. So that's it. I just made some minor adjustments, tightened up all the guy lines. The only thing I really did was move this corner here slightly, and so that fixed that angle. Now all of the angles come down, you know, pretty much straight in line with the ridge line, and then they go straight down to the anchor. You have to imagine that line is going down into the ground, and for the pitch to work nicely, you have to keep that angle, that line going. If you pull it out sideways, if you go down and out sideways, it gets the square around the base taut, but it doesn't get the ridge lines taut. See if we can improve that a little bit. Get this corner nice and tight. But this is just going to get rock solid. So it's holding no problem right now. It's bomber. The whole tent is really solid, but it's just going to get more and more solid as the night goes on. You know, overall, that probably took maybe half an hour from start to finish, but not too bad. My strategy is to always just get a bigger anchor, a longer stick. You know, there's a lot of surface area on that stick up against all of the snow. So what I did is I piled some snow loosely on it, then I packed it down a little bit, then I piled more, so that gets it all sort of congealed. This is just starting to turn into a rock. I'm sitting on one of the 4 corners right now. It's rock solid. I've been in that situation before too, where I get somewhere, The snow is pretty light and fluffy. You start to get frustrated. This is a way that works well from my experience. It's pretty quick. You don't have to spend all that much time packing down the snow. Basically just get a spot where your tent's gonna sit, then pile up those 4 corners, and then you can make some adjustments. Normally it's just one corner that you need to adjust at the end, and it ends up working pretty well.